So I'm Dan, this is Brian, and we want to talk about the light of life in Regina Bernstein. And
so we both kind of experienced the light of life, and we just want to share some of our opinions about it. Dan has a real great story.
Yeah, I probably have the most recent dramatic event, so to speak. I had a condition called irritable bowel syndrome. It's in your lower tract, and I was symptom-wise, really strong cramping, and it was really painful, and I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't drive very far away. I needed to be near a restroom, and it was just like I'd wake up in the morning and I spent a lot of time in bed because I really couldn't do much, and I'd wake up in the morning and feel like I needed to go to the hospital because it was that type of cramping and that type of pain. And so I made it to the doctors, and local doctors, and I had tests taken. There's all the tests, for parasites and for MRI. There's all kinds of stuff that you test your lower tract, and they took every test possible, and nothing showed up as far as being wrong. I was hoping that something would show up in the test, and I'm reading on the internet about what this could possibly be, and that's why I say and it's common, and it says it's irritable bowel syndrome, and like they don't know what causes it, and like so that adds more to my anxiety, because I'm thinking, well, gee, if I have this thing and they don't know what, nobody knows what causes it, they can't do anything about it. I have this thing about the rest of my life I'm going to be stuck in bed.
Let me just interject here, and Dan's probably one of the most active, outgoing, very involved in a lot of different projects, a lot of music projects, art, photography. For him to be hobbled, right, and homebound is a significant. I mean, I've never seen him like that. It's so unlike him. It was I mean, you were really concerned about it, challenging.
Yeah, it just would change my whole life completely. Yeah. It would just if I was left with that situation. Now, fortunately, even though the doctors, they found they gave me medication that were symptom relieving medication, where I couldn't even. I knew Regina Bernstein was there, but she was so far from my, it was like a 45-minute hour drive from my house, and I couldn't spend that long in the car. But fortunately, the regular doctors, bless their hearts, I got symptom relieving medication from them that allowed me to at least get away from my house. So I was able to go up to see Regina, and so once I was at the end of the line, there's nothing else the doctors could do except give me the meds. They had no other tests to take. That was it. And so, because of the symptom relieving drugs, I was able to get up and see Regina. So I started seeing her once a week, and she would administer the light of life healing energy to me. I would lay down on the table and surrender and receive this energy. And it wasn't that long till I was cured. I was cured. I didn't need symptom drugs and relieving drugs anymore. I still have some mental remnants of, like, maybe I start to feel something, and in my own head I might think, oh gee, is that so I have some nerves about that, but that was in my head. But I've been on the miles 100 on the road about 100 miles already today, and she healed me, and I'm grateful to her for that. And we're talking to you right now, whoever's listening to. I don't discuss this with a lot of people because it seems like an unbelievable thing, but she healed me, and it's a real to me, and I'm grateful to her for that. And there's
it's pretty amazing.
That's so so it's just a wonderful thing, and we
should tell them about the first exposure to this was about, I want to say 20 years ago.
Yeah,
we're musicians, and Dan came over to my house, and his foot was one shoe on, one shoe off. There was something going on with your foot, and I don't think you knew at the time what it was.
I didn't know it was gout, but I didn't know it was gout at the time.
But he brushed his foot on my carpet and dropped into his knees. I'm across him. What's going on here? Because I'm not sure, but I'm going to go see this guy tomorrow, Howard Lee. And he told me about it, and we played, and he continued to nurse it. And the next day he comes back to my house, pulls up in the driveway, gets out of his car, and jumps up and down on the foot that dropped him to his knees the night before. And that closed me. I mean, that was a demonstrable proof that something was going on. I had to experience that for myself. So I went to see Howard, not a particular malady, but I'm gonna check this out.
And who's Howard?
Howard Lee. So Howard Lee is the originator of the Light of Life. Regina Bernstein is one of his practitioners, or a practitioner of the Light of Life, and she has it. With my particular experience, it wasn't any something a medical condition. It was more of maybe an emotional, more of a just an internal direction not being fulfilled, something missing. And I went to see her a few years ago, my first experience, and I didn't continue with it. I went to see her once, and then I think 3 or 4 months later I went to see her again. One thing that I did notice immediately, and Regina pointed out to me after the first session, my hair was graying. You can see it's a little salt and pepper. After an hour session, my hair was noticeably darker, demonstrably darker. And no, I didn't go to the bathroom and wipe on the Grecian Formula 44. It was actually the energy, cell rejuvenation, this healing energy that helps every fiber of your body. I felt something, a calmness, I felt an energy movement, but it definitely helped. Recently, in the last 6 months, I, the same kind of malaise, just not feeling right, and went to see her on a more regular basis. And I think what Dan did to help cure your scenario, it's a regular treatment. You might go see a chiropractor to align your back and your bones on a regular basis. I think that the Light of Life energy, it's similar. You need, several, 4, 5, 6, 8 treatments, really build up your energy, build up the support, and that you can maintain it on your own by doing exercises. There's some Light of Life exercises that you can do. There's a great book you can get that explains the Light of Life energy and the exercises you can do. And then there's also a weekend, like a Sunday class. I call it Regina's Sunday School, where you get together with a group of people and do the energy, and Regina also does the healing treatment as well. But I noticed a big difference in the way that I felt, the way that I looked, my skin, my hair, just kind of a spiritual recharge, if you will, was very, very noticeable to me. So whether it's a physical, an emotional, a personal, it helps in many, many different ways.
It was interesting the first time I heard about Howard Lee and the Light of Life, because a friend of mine had a rough night, indulging in all kinds of things, and he in a fierce rage, he put his hand through his wall in his house, and he was telling me the story. And so, 1 o'clock, full rage, put your hand through your wall at your house. So his hand was like devastated. He went to the wiped out. He went to the UCLA Med Center, and they looked at it and they did what they could do, but they told him, well, you just that's it. You're going to lose the use of your hand. And so he said he had his friend who knew about Howard. He told him to go see Howard Lee and see what happened. So my friend Paul went to see Howard, and he got complete use of his hand back after the UCLA Med Center said, that's it, you'll never get use of your hand back again. And so that's what got Brian's attention with my gout 1-day treatment, me jumping, maybe that got his attention. But what got my attention was when my friend Paul put his hand through the wall, and UCLA Med Center said, you're done, and he got it all back completely fine. And so that's when I went and saw Howard for the first time. After I just laid down on the table and he does the heal. I just closed my eyes and surrendered, and then I left that room that day just like I was under a lot of stress, but also sometimes when you're under a lot of stress, it becomes normal, so you can't feel the degree of the stress because you're living with it. And when I walked out of the office that day, it was so much had been lifted off as far as stress, and I went, wow.
It's kind of what happened with me when I saw Regina. Just a relief, and there's Western medicine, there's Eastern medicine. I don't profess to be an expert in either of them, not even close. But but if it works, you feel it, you know it, is demonstrated by what's happened to you, demonstrated by what I feel.
And if I may add, there's nothing that goes with this. Sometimes people, there's no belief system. There's no.
It's not a religious.
It's not a religious
not a
thing. I mean, and Regina has said many times, hey, if you want to do this, fine. I advise if you do these exercises, that's going to be beneficial to you, if you want to. And there's it's been such a powerful thing to me. I mean, she could have told me stuff and I would have definitely listened because of how powerful it was. But and Howard as well. It's like, there's nothing attached to it other than this is an energy if you take advantage of. If you want to, it's your decision and your choice. If you want to, if you don't have to, there's you just whatever you want to do. So.
Yeah, the belief system. You don't have to believe. It actually helps if you identify the changes that need to be made. People need to make changes in their lives and do things.
Yeah.
And I find it very, very helping in that way. I call it, it's recharge. It recharges your system, recharges your vitality. I highly recommend it.
So if you're watching this, wondering about if you should visit Regina, I would say you got nothing to lose. I mean, I would say do it, and if you don't want to, don't do it. So isn't that right?
I would 100% agree.
So we agree
for the first time ever.
Okay, so I think that's about it. You got anything else to say?
No. Okay. Try it out. Check it out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.